Hi everyone in 142A. Patricia, one more time. I think I've got one more conversation with you to go. We're moving into week 12 and sort of finishing up that piece on the social emotional part. And while the readings and everything focus on the social emotional piece, what I pulled out was to look at the funding part, because this funding part is really key in thinking about how we work with the children, how we see our role with the children, how the funding has a huge impact on what we do. And so our knowledge of that funding base and keeping up with how that funding base happens. So take a look at the piece. I see a number of people have already begun commenting on it. But I admit, I like the idea of alternative, non-diagnosis model for funding students with special needs, because I think then it's more fluid. Less children are sitting on a wait list waiting for somebody to give a diagnosis and then sit on a wait list for services. I'm also, and I posted that today, talking about the idea of the fact that services are becoming more generalized in the districts. In some of our larger districts, we have one physical therapist, one occupational therapist, one speech and language, one behavior interventionist, if we're lucky. And they are responsible for all the children in the school. We have the learning support teachers, and they're supposed to be the ones responsible within each school, and it's too much. Maybe we need to start thinking about decentralizing some of those services so that we have more community-based or neighborhood-based services, so that children are getting more services, seeing more people on a regular basis, and that we're teaming more. We're not all sitting waiting for somebody to do something. So as an EA, I'm waiting for the teacher to give me the IEP. The teacher is waiting for the learning support teacher and the rest of the team to have a meeting to develop an IEP so we know what to do with the child. Meanwhile, it's October, November, December. The child is still in the classroom. So I think there has to be other ways. And I think if we moved away from the diagnosis part and moved to an observation portfolio, that we could look at, how could we put services in place? Should each school have their pot of money to be responsible for and divide it out? We've seen some of the comments from families and from people from a personal life, from family viewpoints, and people from workplace viewpoints sharing their ideas about that as well. Should it be a district fund, and so that the money comes into the district and the district makes a decision on which school gets the funding? So is it a squeaky wheel funding method? Is it a groundswell up funding method? Should it be from the top down funding method? So as citizens of a community and as citizens of a province, we have the power to have a voice. And as those who work within the EA field, we have an even stronger voice. So how could we use other ways of knowing that children need assistance and getting the assistance in a timely manner to support those students? I see some of you are already moving on. It's always a sense of getting near the end and getting finished. So in week 13, I have posted the piece for the learning portfolio. Remember that when you graduate from the EA program, you now need to have a portfolio piece that includes something from each course that you've taken, an artifact. An artifact can be an assignment, it can be a discussion posting, it can be a reading, it can be a video, it can be an overall feeling or sense, but whatever it is, it's something that you pull away from that course. Maybe it was the way the course was set up, maybe it was the teaching style in the course. Whatever it was for you, that's the one thing that there's a lot of takeaways, but let's pull out one thing you want to take away from that course and say why. Why is that important to you? Why is this the piece that's important to you? I see that a few people have already started the conversation, but this is just so in order for me to release your grade for 142A, I need to see your portfolio piece listed. And for anybody going on into 153, the final practicum piece, you will need to have your portfolio for your certificate completed by 153. So there's two ways that you need to get 142, a portfolio piece pulled together. So remember also that a portfolio piece doesn't have to be sunshine and roses. It can be something that didn't work for you. It can be something that was lacking. It can be something that was missing, and build your reflection upon that as well. Because portfolio moments aren't always positive moments. So remember to piece that piece. So thanks a lot. I will continue to work with you. I am still in Toronto. But next week things should be looking better. We have secured a space for our mother, and so the banking piece is just about done, and we move in next week. She should be in for Easter. She should be in her new space. So That's a positive piece. And then I get to spend 2 weeks with her before I have to come home. So things are looking up, and things are looking up on my end. I'm sure that she's not quite as happy about things. But thank you all for your support for this piece in these last 2 weeks. I know it's probably not ethical for me to share what's going on, but it gives you some insight into what's going on and why I'm not here as present as I should have been in the class. So anyways, no excuses, just sharing. So remember, join the conversation. Definitely, you must post your portfolio piece as soon as that piece in place. That's it. I also suggested that everybody share the final piece on their behavior support plan. And I'm asking you to share this not as a critique for each other's work, but just so that you get a perspective on how everybody, because it's amazing to me, having read everything over the semester, how many people did certain children, which ones were chosen and which ones weren't chosen. I think everybody, at least 2 people chose them. And the other piece is how everybody saw a different behavior, or how everybody saw the same behavior but came at it from a different way. So it'll give you an opportunity to read through the final completion of the template for the behavior support plan. For those of you going on to 153, you will do this all over again, but you will do it in real time with a child in your classroom. My only recommendation to you is pick an easy behavior. Do not try to change the world in 5 weeks. It's impossible in May, June to do that. Pick something that's reasonable and time sensitive. So it may be something very small, like picking up their backpack. That's a small thing that you want them to do. Or it may be, what else? What could it be? Changing language. So that may be the one thing. It's just a small piece. Don't try to change the world in your 153 practicum for your behavior support plan. All right, I'll talk to you all online, and I'll keep an eye on what's going on and try to get the marking done in a timely fashion. Thanks, everybody.